In this video, I'm going to show you the mental trick that I use to get meetings. Because ultimately, in our trade, getting meetings is the lifeblood of any business, all right? Now, who am I? My name is Eddie Luis. I've been working in sales now for 2 decades. I've made well over $100 million in sales. Some of my clients are, the likes of Cartier, Audi, Microsoft, so very big firms, although I have sold products and services to SMEs all the way to very big corporations. And I believe I have something that could be useful to you guys because, I've done this 6,000 times plus now, and it's working, all right? I've noticed that this mental trick that I use, very few people in our trade use it. Regardless if you're new in sales, old in sales, you're experienced, you're very good, or you're very bad at it, you will be affected by this. So pay attention here because it actually will help you out. By the way, I see this happen every day in my organization, amongst my competitors, other salespeople in other trades. It's I'm not going to say ubiquitous, but nearly, all right? And you have to remember that no sales means no business. You can have the best product, the best company. If you're not making any meetings, you're not selling, you're not making any money. And remember, the number one cause for a business to fail is having no cash flow. Well, if you don't have any clients, you don't have any cash flow, right? Now, the reason why you can't get those meetings, and this is something that doesn't affect me anymore, but it probably affects you, is that you're being dictated by your subconscious mind. Now look at this gorgeous little brain right there that I drew. A future artist, I'm telling you. The subconscious mind is basically ruling your everyday. There's your conscious, which is while you're moving your arms and your legs and talking, and your subconscious is the sum of all your experiences that you've had across your entire life, right? That's what your subconscious is, or it's the sum of that. You've basically created a mental blockade. Look at this glorious locker that I drew up here. You've created some mental blockades about certain things. And actually, getting meetings is probably where you're creating this blockade right now. You've made outreach, cold calling, or cold emailing into something like this crazy mountain or crazy task that is super hard, that is, very tiring, very demotivating, and almost scary at this point. Why? Let me give you an idea why if you think subconsciously your beliefs don't affect you. I'm going to share a personal story here. I love music, all right? But for the life of me, I can't learn how to play any instrument. And the result of this, or the reason why this happened to me and I can't play an instrument despite loving music, is because for nearly 20 years now, I've had horrible teachers in music. In school, every single music teacher I had was an absolute arsehole. Always berated me, always was rude to me. And if you don't think that the sum of all those negative experiences, I even went to detention for the first time in my life because of music when I was in school. Can you imagine that? Well, it basically created this very negative perception about, learning an instrument. And to this day, it's every time I try, it's like, nah man, can't do it. Now, you have to remember that by doing this exercise, or building this mental blockade, you've basically started building the idea that outreach, or cold calling, or cold emailing, or whatever you're doing for outreach, is bad. Same thing happens to people. You start associating salespeople with bad people, or not professionals. You have to stop this stuff. It doesn't make any sense. How can you enjoy selling if you start building this very negative subconscious image about selling? It's not possible. It doesn't happen this way. Now, let me give you a very first step and explain to you why this is going to help you. Every time, all of us, we get pitched every day. We get outreach to by other salespeople every day, all right? You have to start treating all those salespeople with respect. Now, hold on, don't click out of the video just yet. Let me explain what I mean by this. Your subconscious, every time some guy calls you up and tries to sell you something or an email, observe your inner monologue, what's happening inside your brain. You're probably raging. You're probably like, oh my God, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, or he's unprepared, or God forbid, he's from another country with a very thick accent, he's reading a sales script, doesn't know anything. Your subconscious is building this image at you're that guy, and you're basically building yourself a mental cage. That's it. Because all these negative perceptions about sales that you're building, your reactions, the way you act with them, the way they operate, their levels of professionalism, you start mirroring that on yourself. You're building this mental cage that's really negative. Again, this is building this image that sales are bad. Remember, you're great at sales. With what I'm teaching you in this channels, with all the other videos, you are great at sales. You're going to be ahead of the game because nobody does this. Really, nobody does this. You have to stop thinking you're that other guy that's reaching out to you and he's terrible at his job. You're yourself, all right? You have to rewire your mind, my bad, to build sales around something positive. And that starts by treating others with respect, all right? Almost a biblical parable there, treat others the way you want to be treated, almost. Now, I'm not saying you have to be a sucker and take every sales meeting and buy every product. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, when those people reach out to you and it doesn't make sense or anything like that, just tell them, hey man, I appreciate you growing that business. I'm in the trade myself. I appreciate your effort in growing your business or the hustle out there, but that's not for me. Or I'm not in the market for that. Or I don't have the money, whatever the excuse is. Just be nice. Don't be angry, right? And you're going to realize over time that your subconscious is observing everything you do. He never sleeps. And he's going to start building or rewiring the idea that sales is something positive, that outreach is something positive, that booking meetings is something positive. So whenever, if I look at it rationally, outreach, what is it? It's sending an email, it's picking up a call. Is the phone that heavy? Is the emails, the keyboards burning your fingers when you're typing that? No, it's not painful. It's just psychologically this image that you're building. Now, if you start associating it with something good, suddenly you're going to be a lot more happier booking those meetings. And guess what? You're going to be sitting next to me with thousands and thousands of successful meeting booked. That's it. Now, what's happening when you're doing this rewiring is that you are going to be applying what we call the mirror effect. You are going to be, your subconscious is going to basically imagine that the way you treat other salespeople is how you're going to be treated by your prospects. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen in real life, but subconsciously you're going to be associating the outreach results as something positive and not something painfully difficult for you to do. Don't get me wrong, we're still going to have awful prospects, people that are rude, etc. That will never go away. Although I'll teach you in other videos how to limit this to the odds of that happening to a bare minimum. But basically you are going to imagine that this is what you're going to get in return. And if you don't think that happens, I assure you this is not something that I made up. This is built on scientific principles of subconscious minds. This is real. This is something that, strange enough, nobody's talking about. But in our trade, it affects us every single day. And mind you, this applies to many different other subjects. But here we're just talking about meetings. Now, if you agree with me or you're thinking about using this, or you have any questions on how this operates, please feel free to ask questions. I'll try and answer them in all due time. If you disagree, please tell me. I live for constructive debates. This is what the best part is. And, I hope also you can leave a thumbs up or a positive comment or a negative comment about how, my production levels has increased. I bought some very fancy markers, guys. I'm not sponsored, but MaxiFlow. Jesus, they're much better than what I've used so far. And I made some efforts in drawing some stuff. I hope you enjoyed my little brain right there. See you next week for the next videos. Remember, I'm doing this channel to basically improve all of our sales games because I think it's overall going to be better if all the salespeople perform better because we're all going to be perceived better by our different prospects. Yeah, good luck out there and see you around for the next week's video. Bye.